All right, Texas, Oklahoma State, Big 12 championship game. The line opened at 10. Texas favored by 10. The last I saw it was at 13.5. So bettors already love the Horns, who just beat Texas Tech 57-7 in this game. And we're looking at an Oklahoma State team who a couple of weeks ago got blown off the face of the earth by UCF. Now, that game was in a monsoon and much different weather than it'll be in nice, sunny 73-degree AT&T Stadium indoors in Arlington. Both of these teams have had very different paths here. Texas has dominated pretty much everybody, aside from that Oklahoma loss they have. And as I dominated, there have been a couple close wins down the stretch, but you knew, right? You just kind of knew, like, gosh, dang it. Waiting for them to trip up like they usually do, but they're the best team in the Big 12. They're likely going to the Big 12 championship, and it's exactly what's happening. And then Oklahoma State, it was, they lost to South Alabama. They might go 3-9 and fire Mike Gundy. Instead, they're going to the Big 12 championship. Now, Texas has not been in this game since 2018. There's nobody on the roster that remembers what it's like to play in this one. They played in big games. They've been to Tuscaloosa, but this is a championship game. The biggest game Texas has played in since 2018. For Oklahoma State, they have guys who have been there and have a bitter taste in their mouth from when they lost to Baylor in that dramatic, awful fashion where Baylor just somehow stopped Oklahoma State defensively at the goal line. For the Cowboys, they're averaging 30 points per game. The offense has not been a huge issue. 272 pass yards per game for a guy like Alan Bowman. For Texas, they only have 12 more passing yards than that each game. Like that is huge. And Oklahoma State has been able to rely more on the passing game in the last few weeks. Remember that one time that Ollie Gordon was scoring 4 or 5 touchdowns every week, which he did last week, by the way, but he was doing it every week, and Oklahoma State could really only run the football because they had 3 different quarterbacks that didn't know who to trust, and they decided on Alan Bowman, and he wasn't that good. So what do we do now? We hand the ball to Ollie Gordon, who we weren't handing the ball to earlier in the year. Well, now the passing game has developed. Alan Bowman is still not a great quarterback. He is just okay. You're going to have to run the football, but at least he's a little bit better. And Texas secondary is where you can try to expose the Longhorns. They allow 258 yards per game passing. That is mediocre. They only allow 17 points per game. They score 35 points per game. I told you they've mostly dominated their opponents this season. For Oklahoma State, what do you have to do? You're going to have to find a way to establish the run game against a team that doesn't allow opposing teams to run the ball. Texas only allows 85 rush yards per game. Now, look, Texas is missing Jonathan Brooks. He's out for the year. But then here comes C.J. Baxter, who's been so good for them. And it's like, that is how you know a team is actually good, is because when their best player goes down or somebody key goes down, they just throw in somebody else who looks just as solid. And then when Baxter went down last week, Texas was still able to run the football against Texas Tech. You're going to have to, as Oklahoma State, not rely on taking advantage of injuries, because that's not going to happen. Even with and Texas has been banged up. Malik Murphy got banged up, and Arch Manning was the 2 last week, and Quinn Ewers has missed some time, and again mentioned the Jonathan Brooks injury. But from A.D. Mitchell to Xavier Worthy to the weapons Texas has offensively to Byron Murphy and the big defensive line and the defense that's just going to push you back. If this game is going to be won in the trenches, it's going to take a heroic performance from an Oklahoma State offensive and defensive line that I know that aren't as good as what Texas puts on the field. For Oklahoma State, there aren't a lot of stakes. You could say, they're huge stakes. This is your chance at a first Big 12 championship in the conference championship game era. But no, the stakes are with Texas. They're the team that needs this so badly. They need to rub it into everybody else. They're good again going into the SEC. For Oklahoma State, your stakes are simply upsetting the big dog, are simply making them sad. That's what I need from you. Can you do it? Can you do it? Find a way to establish the run with Ollie Gordon. If you can do that, if you can run for 100 yards in the first half, that's going to open up the passing game. That's where Oklahoma State can beat Texas. I don't trust Alan Bowman. I'm going to need for 60 minutes him to just be stupid good to keep Texas away from its first Big 12 championship since 2009. Texas is the best team in the Big 12. It's really not that close. They have the most athletes. Quinn Ewers has been so smart. He has been opportunistic and smart. He's not the best quarterback in the Big 12. He has not been the flashiest quarterback in the Big 12, but he hasn't needed to be. He's not a Heisman contender. He hasn't needed to be. Xavier Worthy is there Xavier Worthy's right there to help him out. A.D. Mitchell's right there to help him out. The keys, the offensive weapons, the offensive line that Texas has been stupid good. But across the way, 1,500 yards rushing, 21 touchdowns for Ollie Gordon. Get the ball to Ollie Gordon. If he rushes for 100 yards in the first half and Brendan Presley can open up, then you can find a way to get Alan Bowman involved. If the defense, if your Colin Oliver can step up and make a big play, if a Nicholas Martin can step up and make a big play, then you've got a shot. Look, you beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma beat Texas. Oklahoma State beat Oklahoma and Oklahoma beat Texas. I know the transitive property does not work. It does not work in college football. But Texas struggled with Iowa State, struggled with TCU, struggled with K-State, overlooking the 57-7 win. If Oklahoma State can channel what they did against OU and maybe get a call or two from the officials, there's a way. There's a way. As you can see, I'm trying to convince myself. Please. Coming up, Baylor keeps Dave Aranda, Houston fires Dana Holgerson. Who's the serious one here? This is Locked On Big 12, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel, where I go to make money. You want $150 in free play? Go to FanDuel right now. FanDuel.com/locked on. I do bets. I do player props. I do spreads. I do money lines, over-unders, all at FanDuel. New customers get $150 in bonus bets with any $5 winning money line bet. Put $5 on the money line for Texas this week or for Oklahoma State. Get $150 in bonus bets. It's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options. FanDuel.com/locked on to kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.